Shiloh's decision to drop Pitt from her name and adopt the new artistic moniker Jolie was more than a legal formality. It was a personal declaration of independence, a conscious step out of her famous father's shadow, and a powerful assertion of identity by a young woman born in 2006. According to court documents filed with Los Angeles County, Shiloh submitted her legal name change request on her 18th birthday, May 27, 2024, officially transitioning from Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie-Pitt to Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie. What stood out was not just the act itself, but the fact that she did it entirely on her own, without going through her mother or relying on any family member. She hired her own attorney and paid for the legal process herself. Peter Levine, Shiloh's legal representative, confirmed that it was a wholly independent and deeply personal decision. The name change was finalized in August 2024, just 3 months after her birthday, and from that point on, Jolie began to appear quietly but deliberately in her creative work, marking the beginning of a distinct journey, one that sets her apart from the glittering legacy of both her parents. The recent event in Los Angeles, where Shiloh was publicly credited as Jolie for the first time, while choreographing a performance for fashion house Isabel Marant, offered a striking illustration of the artistic path she is now pursuing. The piece, choreographed by her, featured dancers Keone Rose and Tako Suzuki, with live vocals by singer Luella. Though she remained behind the scenes, not stepping into the spotlight herself, it was Shiloh, or rather Jolie, who provided the creative vision that left both the audience and the press impressed. Her name was listed on the official event credits, not just as a shortened alias, but as her first public statement as an emerging independent artist. Choosing this name, a blend of her own and her mother's surnames, while removing Pitt from her public identity, was a deliberate move that underscored her desire to no longer be defined by a father who has become increasingly distant from her life. Over the past few years, Shiloh has been quietly making a name for herself in the world of dance and choreography. Videos of her rehearsing in professional dance studios have gone viral across social media platforms, with the most notable being a solo routine performed to Tanzania by Uncle Waffles in May 2024. Praise has poured in from within the dance community, especially from professionals like choreographer Lil Keelan Carter, who described her movement as insane and full of energy, evidence that Shiloh is earning her place through raw talent, not parental fame. According to Hollywood Life, Angelina Jolie has supported her daughter's love for the arts since childhood, enrolling her in various creative programs, particularly dance. Sources close to the family say that Jolie has always encouraged her children to explore any passion, from computer programming to martial arts. But for Shiloh, performance art has clearly emerged as her truest calling. Many observers believe it is this quiet but intentional support from her mother that gave Shiloh the foundation she needed to carve her own path in a highly competitive artistic world. Yet behind the glow of the stage lights and her rebranded name lies a long history of fractures within the Jolie-Pitt family. Shiloh's decision to publicly renounce the Pitt surname is not an isolated event. Prior to her, Zahara, one of Angelina and Brad's adopted daughters, introduced herself as Zahara Marley Jolie at a sorority event in Atlanta, Georgia. Soon after, Vivienne, Shiloh's twin sister, was listed as Vivienne Jolie in official Broadway materials for The Outsiders, a production she co-produced alongside her mother. These consecutive actions reveal a clear pattern. The children are gradually distancing themselves from their father's name, either legally or symbolically during public appearances. According to People, Brad Pitt became aware of Shiloh's name change shortly after the filing, and sources close to the actor say it left him deeply saddened. He was never happier than the day Shiloh was born, one insider shared. He always dreamed of having a daughter. Now looking back, it is heartbreaking to see how much he has lost. Another source added that while Brad still loves all his children deeply, witnessing Shiloh publicly drop his name was profoundly painful. Brad misses them terribly. It's just very sad. Experts believe the pattern of name changes among the Jolie-Pitt children reflects unresolved trauma stemming from the couple's highly publicized and contentious divorce. Legal disputes over custody, alongside lingering allegations of domestic abuse, have never been fully resolved in court. Shiloh, once seen as the symbolic bond between two of Hollywood's biggest stars, has now become the first to legally cut that bond, at least in name. Her action speaks volumes about where she stands within this complex family dynamic. Still, analysts note that Shiloh's move should not be read as an attack, but rather as a step in a broader process of personal reinvention, one that many young people must navigate, especially those who have lived their entire lives under the scrutiny of the spotlight. The way Shiloh Jolie went about legally changing her name has stirred just as much attention as the act itself. According to reports from Celebici, Shiloh not only made the decision independently, but she also hired her own attorney and covered all legal fees herself, a deliberate move to assert autonomy and avoid any financial or emotional dependence on her parents. Sources close to the family reveal that the legal filing was submitted to the Los Angeles County Court on her 18th birthday, the exact moment she gained the right to make the change without parental consent. If that timing sounds intentional, that is because it likely was. Peter Levine, Shiloh's attorney, publicly defended her decision, emphasizing that the legal process, such as posting a name change announcement in a local paper, was simply a state requirement, not a publicity stunt. This is a legally required notice, he stated, cautioning media outlets against framing it as a dramatic gesture. Levine further urged journalists to be sensitive in their coverage, calling it an independent decision by a young adult in the wake of painful family events. He clarified that Shiloh did not place a personal ad or seek attention. She merely followed California's legal procedure, which mandates that all name change requests be publicly disclosed, typically through publications like the Los Angeles Times. Court documents indicate that neither parent objected to the name change, which is consistent with California law. Once a minor turns 18, they are free to choose their own name without needing approval, so long as the request is not made for fraudulent or criminal purposes. Legal expert David Glass, commenting on the case, noted that Shiloh, now legally an adult, has the full right to adopt whatever name she chooses. He added that such petitions are usually straightforward, as long as the individual has no criminal record or pending investigations. Yet for all its legal normalcy, the name change has reignited public attention toward the strained dynamics within the Jolie-Pitt household. Since Angelina Jolie filed for divorce in 2016, Brad Pitt's relationship with several of his children has reportedly fractured. Sources close to the family told People that Brad has had, quote, very little to no contact with the older kids in recent years. Learning that Shiloh had dropped Pitt from her name reportedly left him heartbroken. He was never happier than the day Shiloh was born, one insider said. He had always wanted a daughter. Now looking back, what he has lost is deeply painful. Another source echoed the sentiment, saying Brad still loves all of his children dearly, but watching his daughter publicly discard his name was a bitter pill. Brad misses them terribly. It's just very sad. As her children begin carving out their own identities in the public eye, fewer are asking, where is Angelina Jolie in all of this? And yet, signs suggest that the Oscar-winning actress has been walking quietly beside her daughter throughout this delicate journey. Years ago, during an appearance on The Tonight Show, Angelina revealed that Shiloh had always gravitated toward privacy and deeply appreciated musical theater, an interest that now seems prophetic, aligning closely with her path into choreography and performance. From a young age, Shiloh was enrolled in dance classes, thanks to Angelina's encouragement. That early exposure would later blossom into a serious passion. When renowned choreographer Kalani Marks posted a video of Shiloh dancing on Instagram, he tagged Angelina in the caption, expressing admiration for her daughter's progress and dedication. I've seen her grow since the beginning, and it's been amazing to watch. It was a quiet nod to a mother who has nurtured creativity in the background, not just for Shiloh, but for all her children. Angelina's efforts to cultivate a creative household have extended far beyond after-school programs. She launched Atelier Jolie, a fashion platform meant to democratize design and allow her children to experiment with textiles, form, and self-expression. On stage, she has taken on the role of producer, most recently for the Broadway production The Outsiders, which she co-produced with Vivienne, Shiloh's twin, who is also credited under the name Vivienne Jolie. Through these endeavors, Angelina appears less like a celebrity mother managing a brand, and more like a creative guardian, fiercely protective, quietly present, and committed to giving her children the tools to discover their own identities. This form of quiet support may be precisely what empowered Shiloh to step into her own light, to adopt a new name, and to present her artistry to the world on her own terms. As Shiloh's new identity became public, social media lit up. Videos of her dancing, many of which had circulated for the past 2 years, resurfaced with renewed attention. Fans flooded comment sections with praise for her talent, her confidence, and her refusal to conform to the expectations often placed on celebrity children. Vanity Fair remarked that Shiloh's clips had electrified the digital dance community, while others on TikTok and YouTube began referring to her as the future Prince of Dance or the independent princess of General Z. At the same time, news outlets dissected every detail. Lifestyle platforms like Page Six and Oprah Daily leaned into the cultural angles, her fashion choices, her artistry, her lineage. Others, however, could not resist framing her decision within the context of her parents' long-running divorce saga. Speculation flared about what her name change signified in the larger Jolie-Pitt family dynamic, with some suggesting that tensions between Brad Pitt and his children were more fractured than ever.